Folks, welcome back. This is actually a really boring background. I don't even know why I picked this background. It's just a bunch of. Welcome to the storage room of where we just have packing material and supplies. Sometimes I just hide back here and sleep here for a few hours, just kind of zone out from the world, and so I don't keep swiping left on my my back page and everything. Today, I guess today we're just going to talk about, now that we made it past Lord of the Rings. I'm really glad they found the One Ring. I'm really glad we have that ending of the story. Otherwise, I feel like people would just endlessly be talking about it. It would be like this, just some ending to some. It's like Sopranos ending or something, where just nothing happens and everybody endlessly speculates for a million years. I'm really glad that it turned out the way it did. So first thing, yes, collector boxes, Lord of the Rings, are back now to $4.25 plus tax. So they continue to just, the demand was not shifted, which I'm blown away. I thought the price was going to really, it did not do what I thought it was going to do. So people are already back to spending about $450 with shipping and tax and TCG Player for a collector box. Yeah, okay, that's enough of that. Today we want to talk about Commander Masters a little bit. I want to talk about this Flesh and Blood Infamous, the 10th Flesh and Blood release, Dusk Till Dawn. And some of these serialized chase cards with hand-drawn angels, Prism, and Flesh and Blood World. Absolutely just, oh my god, I can't wait. And I think we got some other little things, some Weiss releases and everything coming up here. I know there's a major Weiss release coming in about a month. Beginning of August, we have another really big Weiss release, which is going to be the HoloLive Volume 2. That is going to be a really strong selling one. And we got some smaller Weiss releases this month. But anyway, Commander Masters. Let's talk about that real quick. So as of right now, there's a lot of speculation on Commander Masters and everything with the super high price point. So essentially, I think the market already adjusted by the time you watch this video, but I saw people in stores pre-selling Commander Masters set boxes on TCG Player for like $330, $340. Are the stores doing that? Are you all aware that's selling at a loss? Like, wholesale for Commander Masters for a store, paying overhead, employees, risk, licenses, business taxes. Like, you're aware, like, a store cost is like $310 to $320 a box. Say $315 for Commander Masters set. And these stores are pre-selling on TCG Player for $330, $340. So they were locking in 5, 10, 15% losses. Like, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I think a lot of that were employees and just stupid people not knowing what they're doing. And like I tell you all, do not, just be careful with that. You may think you locked in an amazing deal, but a lot of those are not going to be honored. A lot of those are just employees doing stupid things, or Timmies. So right now, most of the hype and demand, based on patron messages, comments, and watching everybody right now, is around two things for Commander Masters. The collector box, even though it's a typical 4-pack collector box like VIP and Double Masters 2022. So the most of the hype is around collector boxes. And actually, the number one hype for Commander Masters is not collector boxes, it's not draft, and it's not even set. The most exciting thing, based on the quantity of people mentioning the term and everything like that, and the amount of messages of people asking, is the Commander deck set once again. Because of these look like insanely good Commander deck sets. Right now, the most common message I'm getting is, Rudy, why should I buy a $400 Commander Masters set box? Why don't I just spend the same, like, why don't I spend $300 and buy like 4 or 5? Like the epic Commander Masters Commander decks. Like one of them is even a sliver deck. Like, so there's a lot of people saying, it guarantees you get all the cards because they're pre-constructed, they're not randomized. Why would I spend $400 on a set box? And I don't have a good answer to that because we don't know what the cards are. It's a very... Commander Masters right now is very high risk. I'll be very blunt with you all. I don't think it's going to collapse. I don't think it's this big Baldur's Gate 2.0 thing. Similar to Lord of the Rings, when I told you guys I didn't think Lord of the Rings was going to collapse and be a disaster. Now, I never predicted how successful it's going to be. But I think Commander Masters is going to be successful. Not at the level Lord of the Rings was, but I think Commander Masters, number one hottest Commander Masters item, in my opinion, I think is probably going to be the Commander decks. Number two, probably going to be the collector boxes. And then as far as the draft and set for Commander Masters, That's an interesting one because draft and set both have 24 packs. Okay. Well, the price difference is almost $100 between draft and set of Commander Masters. But they both have 24 packs. So the list slot, something is going to have to be very uniquely done with the set boxes. Otherwise, I don't understand how you can justify $400 set boxes. And with a store cost being over $300, that is very scary. I don't know if it's going to be loaded and it's just going to be just fine, or if it's going to be type printed. We have no idea. I just don't know. So, it's a higher risk situation than most master sets. When it came to Double Masters and Double Masters 2022, there really wasn't a lot of concern about whether or not it was going to be a fun product, it was going to sell well and have a good reprint and good value and single. There was not really an argument on that. The argument was how low will they drop after release, how long until it recovers, how's this going to work? Lord of the Rings sucked all the money out of the market. That was really the conversation. But, Commander Masters, we have no history of a Commander EDH built around Master style product. It's like the first time they did Eternal Masters, Iconic Masters, or Masters 25, or Ultimate Masters, or Double every time they make these new variants, there is a certain degree of risk that stores and, we all, the people like me, we have to commit blindly to that kind of risk. And we don't know how much it's going to be printed. We don't know if it's going to be garbage. We don't know if it's going to be okay. We don't know if it's going to be a home run. So, as of right now, that's where things stand. Everybody's waiting to find out what happens. The Lord of the Rings hype has leveled off, but the Lord of the Rings, afterglow, and the Lord of the Rings, the side effects are still very felt. They're still very strong in the market. You can see the vacuum of money that went to Lord of the Rings, because you can see how weak every standard set, collector boxes, master set, everything is very cheap right now for a lot of new Magic. And of course, the market, and most of you all watching, have zero confidence in Hasbro or Wizards or a sealed product in the future. We are at, if you look at, as they say, the fear to greed index on Wall Street. Right now on Wall Street, the NASDAQ, big tech stocks, everything's doing very well. Okay? Especially compared to last year's bear market. But the greed and confidence on Wall Street, especially in tech stocks and the NASDAQ and AI, anything with AI, it is very greedy and bullish right now. Where last year, everybody was talking about just negativity everywhere. There were people messaging me, and I even had a couple patrons, love you to death, bro, man hug, bearscape. But I even had some patrons messaging me, telling me, Rudy, there's a real chance in the bear market of 2022, this was last year, that Amazon could go bankrupt. And I was like, okay, because they built so much infrastructure and overhead, and now the volume of revenues are declining, and they got so much overhead and labor, they're just going to sink with losses. I heard so much negativity last year. It's unbelievable. Crazy example, right? By the way, a lot of Amazon's money comes from Amazon Web Services or the cloud, and it's a whole separate conversation. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't, you're going to look at me weird. So we're still seeing a lot of side effects in the Magic market because of the amount of money that Lord of the Rings vacuumed up. I still believe, and I know I'm the only one left, hyping this and that and saying, oh, hang on, don't make my heavy bags go to zero. I love the term heavy bags. We need to have a shirt, maybe the 2023 Alpha Investment shirt. Maybe we do I love my heavy bags, or Rudy likes big bags or something. We got the heavy bags term is such a symbolic term from the boom and bust of 2021's boom and 2022 bust. And everyone talks about heavy bags. We got to use that in some way. The heavy bag term is such a meme term now. But anyways, I still believe there is a lot of opportunity in a lot of these products. Now, long term, 10, 20, 30 years, are some of these products going to matter? I have no idea. Because the amount of variants and printing, we just don't know. The direction in what Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast have done in the last 24, 36 months is unprecedented. There's no history. What they are doing is very high risk. They are really pedal to the floor doing a lot of higher risk things to the Magic ecosystem. And we don't know how this is going to end. It could end very badly. It could end with just nothing. Things just move forward. Nothing dramatic ever happens. Or it could go very well. The biggest takeaway now is we know that Wizards is having these meetings and they're going, look what happened with Lord of the Rings. Look what happened with the One of One Ring. I mean, the Wall Street Journal published articles. It was on every news website. This is free marketing. So again, I do know we can expect more one-of-ones and really dramatic chases moving forward in 2024 forward, because they learn about the free marketing, the impact on the market, and the success that they can have from it. So I do know more of that is coming. That is pretty much, that's as closest to a G-word guarantee you can get. But as far as all these normal products, most of the products are still decent products. I still think Aftermath and Epilogue isn't even a dumpster fire product. Like, I still think, $70 Epilogue boxes are $65, $70, $75 Epilogue boxes. I don't even think that's a train wreck. The Aftermath collector boxes. I don't even think the collector boxes for Aftermath that are, I don't even know what they are now, whatever they are. I don't even think these are these aren't even, people act like they were going to zero with Baldur's Gate. And even before that, March of the Machine and all the multiverse variants and serialized cards. And then Brothers War with the artifacts. Phyrexia, all will be 69 with your wife's boyfriend. Like, all these products did very well. And nobody's saying, I hate these products. There's a lot of frustration with the attitude, the ecosystem in the company, and the secondary market, and the singles, and, but overall, it's a very weird time. So, with all of that being said together, as we approach now Commander Masters, I think Wizards is planning some major surprises with the reprints. I think we're going to get really caught off guard with some really flashy variants and special cards that we don't think are coming. And I do think, coming from last year's Baldur's Gate collapse and the problems and everything, I wouldn't be surprised if Commander Masters even has some tweaks to it where they even made sure that it wasn't going to collapse. Because remember, just because they designed these sets a couple years in advance, they don't go to the printer until a couple months before release. Therefore, Wizards, as they've done many times, and they've stated, Mark Bottomwater, Bathwater, Rosewater has stated many times, no, not that they won't reprint Collector's Edition, because you know how he is with that. But no, they have stated many times, they have adjusted and tweaked. I mean, some of the biggest things I remember from 5, 6, 7 years ago was when Dr. Bathwater made the comments about removing the Masterpiece cards from Ixalan and Rivals of Ixalan. And remember, those double-faced cards from Ixalan were supposed to be Masterpiece cards. So they have done a lot of quick last-minute changes when they feel needed to make sure the market is in line with the product and the value and everything is calibrated properly. So in my opinion, I believe Commander Masters was designed a year or two ago, and I also believe they added some value or injected some more safety nets after last year's bear market and the collapse and Baldur's Gate. I think it was tweaked. So all more reason, I have a very hard time believing that Commander Masters is not going to deliver. My concern is just if they're going to deliver enough so that $400 set boxes are sustainable. I don't have concern. Like right now, if you want my opinion, the Commander decks, dude, and then the collector boxes that are like $230 on TCG Player plus tax. The collector boxes of Commander Masters are like $250 shipped. I know it's only a couple packs, but they're all loaded, whatever. But to me, that is the safer range. And by safer, I mean you're going to have lower volatility compared to the set box at $400. Because a $400 set box, if the market rejects it, that thing can swing to $200 to $300. We're talking 40-50% swing. If the market loves it, it can swing to $500-600. So it is going to have a very wide alligator mouth for swings. But when you have a $230 collector box, or $250 with tax and shipping, even if it swings 20-30%, it's going to go down to $200 or maybe $190. But if it does well, it can go to $300 to $400. So to me, that the risk reward looks better than the set box right now. But again, this is based on having no information on the calibration of the strength and value of the cards. So the lowest risk thing to me right now, out of the different variants of Commander Masters, to me, is by far the Commander decks. The Commander decks, if you just want to have a good time, you get some epic cards. You know what you're getting. You get all of them. That appears to be the exciting route for a lot of people. And like I said, I'm emphasizing that because I haven't had... Usually when a master product is getting ready to come out, everyone's obsessed with the collector boxes. But this time, The amount of people asking about the deck set and the collectors is, I've never seen anything like it. It reminds me of the Warhammer 40K. It reminds me of even the most recent, the Lord of the Rings Commander decks did phenomenally well. I mean, you know, some of these premium collector decks, Commander decks, they do very well. People like them. They know what they're getting. There's not a lot of volatility, and the market's happy with it. So that's all I have to say today overall, folks. Like I said, I guess I'll comment real quick. I do want to say a few things about the Flesh and Blood. This 10th release coming, Dusk Till Dawn. The demand does feel very, very high. And I usually say that. I usually don't say it's very high. Usually I just say it feels like a good set. But this one feels above average compared to the previous Outsiders and the previous Dynasty before that. Again, those were successful, well received. I still sell easily. Oh God, I don't even know. Maybe 50 to 100 boxes a week, maybe? Or wait, that's if it's by case. So if it's 30 to 40 cases a week. So about 120 to 150 boxes of Flesh and Blood are being sold a week. I mean, I go through a lot. Patrons love it. I mean, they crack most of them. They play, they draft, the cold foil. I mean, they're hunting Fables, they're hunting Marvels. I mean, they love the product. But this particular release, the sequel to Monarch, very polarizing word, Monarch, this one feels stronger. And yes, I am, the fact that I'm including the cold foil gem, the token, the diamond cold foil card, that seems to be icing on the cake. On this particular release, I almost feel like there's no promos even needed because the excitement's so high. So again, we'll probably be around the same thing. We're probably going to try to target plus or minus a few bucks, maybe around the $3.99 price. We'll give you a whole case of the new Dusk Till Dawn ships and everything, and then you get you a cold foil diamond kind of thing. So, maybe it'll be $3.89, $3.99, $4.09 range, something like that. And I'm undecided. I think we may have to limit to one per patron. Usually in Flesh and Blood, I like to do two, because some patrons like to keep one sealed and then open the other case. But I may have to limit one to make sure we don't have problems in a blowout. And then after maybe, an hour, maybe allow patrons to, place a second order. I'm thinking something along those lines. But I haven't decided yet. And yes, if we will be doing an early military veterans, first responders and everything. And then, of course, crypto payments. We'll allow you all, you'll have a message go out a couple hours early so we can lock in some orders, because this particular sale does have an exclusive card. And anything exclusive, we like to, if we can't get more of them or you can't buy it elsewhere, we treat it a little differently. That's about it, folks. A lot of people are really excited, too, the new Pokemon. That Pokemon 151 and the set after that, there's a lot of hype around that. There's like no hype around Scarlet Violet base and Mr. P evolved. Palladium, Paldea, the negativity still is pretty wrecking on the Pokemon. I'm still trying to get more of that stuff. I've been trying to buy it pretty good and get it. So I've been trying to sit on some because I've been through this Pokemon boom and bust stuff enough. And, people are just so flippin' short-sighted. It's embarrassing at this point. If you've been in this industry a long period of time and you've seen all these cycles of booms and busts, if you're not able to recognize when sealed Magic is too cheap or sealed Pokemon is too cheap, or even when sealed Monarch First Edition hit a low of like $70 a box on TCG Player in last year's bear market, and how low like all these sealed products of Fab were, like the Alphas, the WTRs, the Arc, there's a point, even Weiss. You look at all these markets, and if you've done this stuff long enough, when people are going crazy, you got to be careful. Which is why I was still telling people $500 to $550 with shipping and tax for Lord of the Rings collectors was too high and it was too dangerous. And the market said, called me the anti-hype man, and the market says I was wrong and I was just trying to corner the market for me. You got to be careful with this stuff. Be very careful going with the trend. It's very good to kind of always be that, contrarian, and, sometimes it's good to, be angry at Rudy and kind of go like this. Is he bamboozling me? It's good to really think things out critically for yourself. I think that's really the best way to say it, because historically, just like Wall Street, the average trader and investor never makes money and is always wrong. Therefore, when you're making your decisions, always remember, most of the messages and comments and Facebooks and Reddits and MySpace and Silk Road, most of these people, you're reading their comments online. Most of them are wrong. Always. So when you're making your decision and you're looking for other feedback and you're reading everything, remember, most of the feedback that you are ingesting is going to be incorrect. Have a beautiful day. Here's my penis. Positivity? Positivity P. PP. Positivity P.